Hello, what have we here? And welcome to the first episode of the There Are More of Us show, where we celebrate creators spreading positivity in the fandom through their love of Star Wars. Today's guest is Brooke, aka B Dazzler. She's a cosplayer, she designs and creates products, including this There Are More of Us t-shirt, and she's a gamer and she streams a wide variety of games. Without any further ado, let's get into it and find out more about Brooke. There are more of us. Hello, everybody, and let's welcome Brooke to the show. How's it going, Brooke, aka B Dazzler?
It's going great. Happy to be here.
Yeah. For those that don't know you, what kind of content do you make?
Well, I primarily post on TikTok, but I've ventured into other places too, YouTube and Twitch. I do lots of things about Star Wars and other nerdy stuff. Lots of gaming content and cosplay content sometimes. But yeah, I like to make things and I like to be really normal about the stuff that I love.
Yeah, really normal. I don't know what normal is for anybody in our friend group. I
Yeah,
don't I
what
don't think
what is normal? What is a normal amount of love for something?
I don't know.
I don't
Sounds
know.
boring to me. Yeah, you say you like to make things. Speaking of making things, you made this shirt.
I
There are more of us
did.
shirt.
Yes, it's really cool. It started at Star Wars Celebration 2022. I made some stickers, and then it's been a long time coming in the process of designing it as a shirt in collab with Chris. So it's cool, and it comes in two colors.
Yes, black and gray. And you can get yours at farfarawayfactory.com. There's going to be a link below. Uh, and shout out to my editor, Austin, who is putting everything up on the screen right now. You obviously love Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your Star Wars story? Like, how'd you get into it? And, why do you love it?
Okay. I don't think I would consider myself a Star Wars fan until my like adult life, which is maybe a little different than other people having Star Wars since childhood. I do have early memories of watching the Phantom Menace when I was really little. It came out when I was like 4 or 5, but and I remember being like, oh my god, Jar Jar is so funny. And like I remember nothing else. And the McDonald's toys when the Phantom
Oh
Menace
yeah.
came out. But other than that, those are like the only really memories I have of Star Wars as a child. But The Last Jedi came out like 3 or 4 days before I graduated college because I had a winter graduation. And I remember going to see it. I had watched the originals before because I had never seen them, at least in like with intention behind watching them, other than them being like on TV or at friends' houses and stuff. And then I watched The Force Awakens. That was one I did not go to see in theaters, which I deeply regret now. But I went to see The Last Jedi and I left the theater and I was so sweaty. I just remember it was like such an intense experience for me. I was like, wow, I have not felt this way about something in a really long time. And I think that's what really sparked me. Like, I went back and I watched all the prequels and I watched all the movies again. And I remember walking to get like my diploma and it was like, but what's going to happen with Ben and Ray? Like, I don't care about graduating right now. So that's what really sparked my love. And then I think like most people over like COVID times, I watched all of the Clone Wars, all of Rebels. I have read so many of the books since then and have kept up with everything. So that's my little Star Wars origin story, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 10th anniversary of The Force Awakens is next year, so who knows? Maybe they'll re-release it in the theaters and you'll get your chance.
That makes me feel so old.
Yeah, just what was it? I was 21 when The Force Awakens
Yeah,
came
I
out.
remember seeing videos of people talking about how, oh, I loved Ray as a kid. I'm like, what do you mean?
What do you mean as a kid?
What do you mean
What
as
do
a
you mean?
child? I was a full adult when that movie came out. But here
Yeah,
we are.
just oh, not gonna feel old right now.
Of course not.
But so you talked about how you read a lot of the books, you've seen the Clone Wars and the Rebels
hmm
and everything.
hmm
What is your favorite book?
Well, I brought props
Oh,
because
brought pops.
I
She's
have.
prepared.
So I've been making it a goal to collect as many of the canon books in
Hmm.
hardcover as I can, and you can see from my shelf, they're all organized by era. So we've got like my sequel shelf, my Rebels and Ahsoka shelf. I'm gonna start to have to expand it out because I'm running out of space since I consider like Ahsoka in the same section as like Rebels and stuff. But anyway, sidebar, my I brought two out of my three favorite books. So I think my real favorite book is Lost Stars, which is on my original shelf, but it's like kind of hidden. I didn't feel like getting it out. But I will say my other two favorite books are The Rising Storm by
Hmm.
Kevin Scott. If you haven't
Banger of a
gotten into
book.
the High Republic, you should,
Absolutely.
because it's wonderful. And then this is kind of like, I think, a hot take, because I don't there were a lot of people that I saw that didn't love this book, but I loved
Hmm.
it, Jedi Battle Scars. But
Hmm.
the Jedi games are like probably my favorite part of Star Wars, and I loved how this book expanded on all of the characters from those games. So I would consider those my like top three. It's hard to put them in order.
I mean, I know The Rising Storm is my favorite High Republic book. I could not put that well. I say could not put that down. Yes, I did have the physical copy, but I was listening to the audio book,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that hasn't read it. But when it was at the ending, I had taken my nieces to the Lego store, and so they're playing with the Legos. I'm watching them, and then it ends, and I'm like, and they're like, "Thank you for listening to this audio production." I was like, What do you
Yeah,
mean? What do you
I
mean?"
it came out while I was on a vacation, so I had like all the time in the world to read it. I went to Target like at the beach and I bought it, and I did not put it down. And I remember like sitting there, and I read the end, and then I like kept trying to turn the page, and it was just like there was nothing else, and I was like, what do you mean? It was wild. I like had to go back and read that passage again like four times to like let it sink in. I was like, what just happened? So good.
So, any era, legends or canon, does not matter.
Uh-huh.
Who are three of your favorite Star Wars characters?
Oh, well, I brought props for that too. So
Oh, prepared.
okay. Favorite character. So these I think are like my top three favorite characters of all, but they're like all from different eras. So we'll start with Cal Kestis. Is my favorite character from, I guess, the Dark Times or the Rise of the Empire era. Um,
Hmm.
I just love him and his little buddy, BD1. And then the love of my life, Din Djarin, the Mandalorian from like the Mando era, the New Republic. And then Ben Solo will always have my heart as well, because I think because the Last Jedi was the first movie I saw in theaters, I have like a deep connection
Hmm.
to the sequel era. Even if it's not everyone's favorite or everyone's favorite movie, I love. He's so dusty. I need to dust my shelves. I just love Ben Solo's character, so I would say those are my top three, all different eras.
And I just love how eloquent Ben Solo is with his words. Just his most poignant quote in Star Wars.
Ow.
Ow.
Yep. He's, it fits my type of character, kind of broody and doesn't talk much. So here we are.
uh, yeah, and then you cosplay as Cal Kestis.
Uh
And you
huh.
have your own little BD as well.
Yes, I do. He's hiding behind my mannequin right now, but I do have two. I have a blue one that I painted that's like a little OC, and then I have BD1 is hiding behind my mannequin at the moment.
And going back to quotes, what is your favorite Star Wars quote?
That one's so hard because I feel like I have a lot that I like. Um there is a quote that I put on my Far Far Away Factory postcard, and it's from Hera, and
Hmm.
it's something about like hoping that things will get better or like working towards making getting things better. I don't remember exactly the quote, but I do really like that one. But the one that I think I am drawn to the most is Yoda's quote from Empire, where he talks about like how we're like not crude matter or whatever. My brain's not all there today, but that quote.
I'm not going to try to do the Yoda voice because it kind of it's not as good as at least my brothers or some of my other Star Wars impressions. But luminous beings are we,
Luminous
not this
beings are
crude
we?
matter.
Yeah. Yep. That one.
Mhm. Fantastic quote. I mean, that whole sequence, pretty much everything with Yoda and Empire is just straight fire. From him being a goofy little Muppet
Mm-hmm.
to when he gets serious, the music,
Yep.
uh, and training, and of course, shout out to bad lip reading for run, 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 jump. I can be your backpack while you. Um, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I just hinted at music. Going to our next question, what is your favorite musical piece from Star Wars? Because Star Wars ain't the same without music.
Oh, Leia's theme, hands down. It makes me cry every time. Like every time. I always think like if I don't want like if I get ever get have a wedding, I don't want anything that's like super in your face, like nerdy or Star Wars to be a part of it, but like subtle things. But the one thing that I would want is I would love to walk down the aisle to Leia's theme. And I'm like, this is perfect because it's such a beautiful theme, but also I can like will myself to cry. Not because of who I'm marrying, but because of Leia's theme, because it makes me think of Carrie Fisher. That one, Ray's theme is always a top choice for me. And then you got to go with Across the Stars too, because it's a classic.
uh, I think you just named three of some of my favorite pieces. Cross the Stars is my favorite, just
Mm-hmm.
period. And then Ray. So I love Ray's themes, but I love the finale, the last steps in the finale, which incorporates Ray's theme into it.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
just, John
How it
Williams,
gets like really big and then really soft. Oh, it's beautiful.
and then Leia's theme does make me emotional every time.
Yep.
So, like, like at your wedding, if that happens, you're just gonna have all the rows of us Star Wars nerds just crying. They're gonna be like, "Oh, they just love Brooke so much," and be like, "We do, but we love Carrie too."
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So, I gave I give all the guests the questions ahead of time, but I
Uh
saved
huh.
one mystery Jackbox question
Oh
that's
no.
going to be
Okay.
tailored to each one.
Oh no.
And
Okay.
because you're so normal about
Oh
the
no.
things that you love. All right. So, for those that don't know, Brooke loves The Last of Us. She loves Uncharted. She
Correct.
loves Star Wars, obviously. So, there are some duos in each of those things. So for The Last of Us, you have Ellie and God, why am I blanking on his name right now?
Joel.
Ellie and Joel. Yeah, I
Joel.
was gonna say Pedro, and I was like, no, it's not. I mean, yes, it is, but no, it's not. So you have Ellie and Joel.
Uh-huh.
For Mando, you have Din and Grogu, and
Uh-huh.
for Uncharted, you have the Drake brothers.
Hmm.
So if you swap each of them into a separate universe. Who are you putting in what universe, and how do they interact with that world?
Oh, I like this question. Okay. My immediate thought is to put the Drake brothers in Star Wars
Hmm.
because Sam and Nate give me Anakin and Obi-Wan vibes with
Hmm.
their dynamic. And so I think that they would interact in that way. Not necessarily master and apprentice in the same way, but I can see them thriving in a world like that if they would be like I don't know, they would be like the hunts like smugglers or scoundrels or something. I can see that. And I feel like there's lots of like you could have a really good like treasure hunt story in a Star Wars.
Hmm.
To swap the other two, I think I would love to see Joel and Ellie in the Uncharted universe because they need some. It's more lighthearted,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they need some better lighthearted moments. But I'd also like to see like Din and Grogu in Uncharted. I'd love to see them like Din trying to look for a treasure and Grogu is just like frog. Um but I don't know. I feel like interchanging Din and Grogu with Joel and Ellie, their dynamics are not the same, but also are at the same time. So putting them in like The Last of Us, I think would work because it is kind of that um it's like flipping that like protective father figure trope on its head where you have like the child figure is also is put in situations where they have to be the protector.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it parallels pretty well, and I think seeing Grogu have to interact with a clicker would actually be low-key hilarious
Just like,
because he'd just be like use his little force to just fling it around while it's like screaming.
yeah, you just have Din Djarin just going like, we're not going to be quiet. We have to be silent. And then Grogu's like, Pitu. And the clicker just goes running, and then he's just like,
Yep. Yeah, I feel like Din would survive though because he's like full of Beskar. You know,
mm-hmm.
like it would be harder to bite him.
I feel like his only issue would be the bloater. Just because of
Oh,
pure strength.
yep.
Like if he gets hit, he's going flying. But if he has his jetpack, then he's
Yeah,
good.
I feel like Star Wars a lot of times they're the people that live in Star Wars don't live like ordinary lives where they like live in a normal house. Like a lot of it is survival based in
Mm-hmm.
general. So I feel like they would be fine.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Grogu survived Order 66, so he'll be good.
Yeah, he did great.
Trauma, guys. It gives you surviving skill.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
thanks, Brooke, for coming on. Of course, you had to be the first guest. You designed the shirt. The sticker was yours from Celebration 2022, like you said. And where can the people find you on various social media?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, all at underscore bdazzler underscore. And Far Far Away Factory on Etsy or farfarawayfactory.com. You can find my stuff there. And then I have a podcast that's been on a long hiatus with my friends Alanis and V. We're rebranding. It was Sith Face Pod, but we are rebranding to be more general nerddom gaming stuff. So stay tuned for that. But you can go back and listen to some of our older episodes if you want.
They are a riot. Uh, they are definitely a riot.
Yeah. Oh, and you can check me and Chris out on Level Up Light's YouTube channel for the Better Than a Stick Star Wars TTRPG game. I also brought my lightsaber. I was like, I have one more prop because I figured why not? Because there are more of us. Shout out Master Allen. But
Yeah, that's your shin?
this is my
Oh,
character saber, but
okay.
it's very similar to the Shinhati one.
Yeah, see, that's why I got it confused. It was like they're very similar,
Yep.
very Brooke coded. Uh,
Truly.
yeah. So the Better Than the Sick game is both on YouTube and I think it's audio on podcasts. But yeah, the Level Up Sabers YouTube page. And if you want to get one of these shirts, you can get it at farfarawayfactory.com or on Etsy. So thank you everybody for listening. And remember, until next time, there are more of us.